So I want to tell you about what happened my first year that I grew plants inside to then take outside to plant in the garden. They kind of look like this. These ones have got kind of leggy because they were in the shade. Well, they were in the dark part of my house, but they're not looking too bad. But what I did is I grew them in the house. They looked beautiful, and then I took them out and they instantly sunburned. And if you're anything like me and you've ever done this before, it's super easy to do and super frustrating because you wait for months to get these beautiful plants, and then in an instant the sun dries them up and they're dead. So what I'm doing, for example, today is I'm getting ready to plant my cauliflower. So I've got these little cauliflowers here, and they've been inside where it's nice and protected, and I'm starting to bring them out so that way they can get used to the elements. So you're going to want to start off with bringing your plants out for a couple. So these guys have been inside their whole lives. What I'm doing today is I'm bringing them out so that way they can get a little bit of exposure. You can see the wind blowing them. They're getting a little bit of sun, so it's not too harsh yet. And then I'm going to bring them in after a couple hours. And then tomorrow it's going to be the same thing. I'll bring them out, I'll put them somewhere in the shade. What's really nice is this spot here is out west. The sun is setting, so they get a lot of morning shade, and then in the evening a little bit of sun before the sun sets, and then I bring them back in. So we're getting a little bit of exposure. It's protected from the wind because I've got the house right here. But they're starting to get more used to the outdoor environment so they can toughen up, and that's same here with some of these other little plants that I brought out. So that way, when I go to plant them out in the garden, they're going to be toughened up and ready to go. So these are my broccolis over here, and they've been out here for a couple of weeks now. I've gotten to the point where I just leave them outside, and they just hang out all day and all night. They're starting to get really tough and really ready, so that way when I get them planted in the garden, they're not just going to wither and die. So you're going to always want to make sure that you do that. So when you start them inside, if they've spent a couple weeks inside, make sure to slowly bring them out. It's going to take you about a week. It's going to take some time, but trust me, it's worth it. If you want to have your plant survive, you got to do this. You've got to bring them out to the elements so that way they're just not shocked when they get out here in the cold. And so that's eventually what will happen with these guys here. So, you know, these guys are pretty tough already because they've spent pretty much their whole nighttime or daytime outside. But as they start getting warmer and it starts getting better for me to leave them out, I'll leave them out overnight too, so that way they can harden up and make them perfect for those who are looking to plant them out in their garden. Okay, well, that is what I wanted to let you know. Make sure to harden off your seedlings. It's super duper important. And thanks for tuning in.